Good afternoon, welcome to Disqualified Dads. First and foremost, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to help support the channel, go into the description and please sponsor and donate in the PayPal link to help keep the content coming. I'm here today with Shaykh Suhail from he's not associated with any specific mosque, so I don't want to go into that. So let me say that again. I am here with Shaykh Suhail. He has just done a kutbah on the family breakdown, the Muslim family breakdown, divorce and the effects on children. So I've got the opportunity to interview him and we're going to drill down a little bit further. Shaykh Suhail, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
It was a
rahmatullah.
pleasure meeting you, and I have to say I enjoyed the kutbah. It cut me deep, straight in the heart, yeah?
Allahu Akbar.
Do you want to introduce yourself, tell the people a bit about yourself, and then we'll drill down into it a bit more?
Okay, my name is Suhail Ahmed Qadri and I am the imam here in Feltham Masjid, and I have been doing this for 3 years. Prior to this, I was a television anchor for many different Islamic channels, doing lots of different Islamic programs on different topics. And also I'm a nasheed artist. I recite nasheeds.
Yes.
For many years, ever since I was 6 years old. So that's a few years ago. But
Mashallah.
alhamdulillah, we're here today, and it's a pleasure meeting you.
I have to say, I could tell you're a nasheed artist because we were doing it after the mic. It was too good. And I thought, you can't just be winging it. Like, it was too good. It was too good. The voice was on point. It was too good.
Allahu Akbar.
Right. So, Shaykh Suhail, first and foremost, with the situation with the divorce now on the rise in the community, fathers losing contact with children, sisters, unfortunately, our sisters and even so-called practicing sisters in the family court, niqabis, hijabis, alimah sisters on the front line, accusing brothers of extremism and all sorts of stuff in order to gain children, property, houses. And unfortunately, from what I've seen with my own eyes, these sisters have practiced. I mean, look, Allah knows who's practicing in the heart, but let's just, for the sake of people understanding, these are so-called, appear to be practicing Muslims. When it's come to these dealings in the family court, children, divorce, the whole, Islam, Hadith, Quran, Sunnah, everything's gone out the window. And these are people that go Hajj 3 times a year, show the community their part. You know what I'm saying, yeah? And you see them in the family court, no one cares. And like I said, in the family court, unfortunately, everyone's atheist. Islam, religion, everything's left at the door from what I've seen with my own eyes, yeah? And then to my shock as well. And then I wonder, what community society do we really live in? Can you tell us more about that, what you know about it, what your take is on it?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, divorce is a very delicate topic. It's a very sensitive topic. And I will say that the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that out of all the allowed and permissible things, it's the only thing that's the most disliked, even to the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's throne shakes when the divorce takes place on the earth. Now that's how severe it is. Obviously, with the law of the land, the sisters do tend to take advantage of the law because it does side with them somewhat, and it weighs heavily against the fathers.
Completely side with them.
We understand that, and we do take note of it. When I've ran a Sharia council for a few years, and we tend to see the effects, the devastating effects that these things do have on the core of the family system. So unfortunately, it's the society that we live in. And that society does play a very pivotal role in people's lives.
People's behaviors.
Right. People's the way they conduct themselves and the way they take advantage of the system.
Okay, so let's drill down into this a bit more then, yeah? The reality that what is going on the ground now is, that our sisters, women from our own community, and I call them our sisters because they're our sisters. They are from our community. These are our people doing this now. Yeah, the sisters have fallen in, and in the family court, from all the study and research and what I've seen directly, cross community, cross culture, cross religion, all the women have the behavior pattern is the same. The allegations, and when I say, look, we're not talking about legit victims that are being abused. We're not talking about them. We are here to support them as well. The legit female victims from all communities, we're here to support them as well. But I'm talking about predominantly what is going on is the false allegations are made to secure the children, secure the home, to get one over the father, and even from other sort of legal people that I spoke to that work in the family court, they're saying in the ethnic communities, it's even more aggressive now. You're from a Pakistani Punjabi background, I'm from an Indian Gujarati background. We know what our people are like at core.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. It's done very aggressively. And the problem is when we get into the family court, the Sunnah, the Hadith, the Sharia, all of it appears to go out the window. People have no care or concern about the severity of breaking ties, with their children. People do not care. Sisters just want to claim house and finances, whatever they can, though it is against, from what I understand, against Islam. That money's haram for them. They don't care. Their fathers and their brothers are supporting this. And there's a lot of this second generational trauma, personality disorder, but we'll maybe go into that later if we've got time. But put that aside. In order to cover up for their own, people have no care or concern for right or wrong, truth and lies, halal, haram. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's benefit and interest.
Yes, I understand, but this is our community. When do we get like this? When did this happen?
Greed. It's greed, and that's what it is. When you're talking about property, when something's not rightfully yours, you're not the rightful owner of it, and you are taking it away, you have encroached on somebody else's rights, and you've taken their rights away. And that's what's happening. I mean, as you mentioned, this is exactly the way that some, unfortunately, not all, illa mashallah, some sisters do take advantage of the system. They play the system exactly the way it's going to benefit them.
I say this, you're right, not all sisters, but if a sister has forced a father to go into the family courts, she is part of the system. And I'd say all the sisters that have forced their husbands or fathers, and the handful of brothers who have also committed this, forced the other partner, the sisters, to go to family court, they're all guilty of this because they're there for a reason. Those that don't want to do it, that have sensible people around them, they settle outside of court and arrange the situation with the children. But okay, let's put that aside. The people will follow whatever greed, like I said, supply, demand, greed, the behavior pattern will be the same regardless of whether it's our community or another community. But being Muslim, surely, right, there was an element of, we had that community spirit. Muslims have done well in this country and globally because of the family unit and their morals and principles. And with this situation now, right, like I said, we're going to see the full effects, I believe, in 10 years. But what I've also found as a Muslim is from our leaders, so not all imams, some want to talk about it, some don't, but predominantly there's a small handful that are openly tackling this subject, but predominantly there is a silence. And the ones that are talking about this, they keep talking about the sister's rights and the rights of the mum and all of this. Hence, father's rights have just completely been lost in the background somewhere, along with the society we live in here.
Well, the father has more rights in Islam, in the sense, the Prophet ﷺ said, the first right belongs to the mother, and the fourth time is the father. The father is the door to Jannah, and paradise lies at the feet of the mother. But the father commands more rights in the sense that he is the provider. He is the one who is the maintainer of the home. He is the one who's the breadwinner. So he has got more control over the home. In fact, الرجال قوامون على النساء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that the man has a degree above the women. الرجال قوامون على النساء. That degree above the woman is the explanation in the Quran to say that he is the breadwinner, he is the homeowner, he is the head of the household. That is the degree that he has above. He is the decision maker. She is his assistant. Islam this is how it is.
Straight.
There's no two ways about it.
That's obviously, that's not me saying it or you saying it.
Allah
That's
saying
Islam.
that
That's Allah saying it, Now, this is what is happening in the current marriage market. Sisters will agree with you and me on that. You are the breadwinner. You are the provider. You have to provide all of these things. Sisters are happy. When it comes to providing and taking, all sisters know that bit of Islam, unfortunately. And after 10 years of marriage where, someone has worked and provided, they've enjoyed all these benefits of what Islam has provided, At the end of it, and like I said, women cross cultures are initiating divorce. Sisters are initiating divorce predominantly, yes?
Predominantly.
So when they
in fact, up to 80 to 90%. The cases that we get, or we've had in the past, in the Sharia Council, the majority have been women who have applied.
Right, so we've got that directly. Okay.
Men don't want to divorce.
No, okay. Men will carry on, I believe. They will soldier it out.
Okay, patience.
Yes.
They have more patience. You know, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that if the divorce right was given to the woman, she would exercise it far more than the man.
Oh, yeah, I think we'd all be.
Yeah, and that,
Yeah,
you know,
we'd all be divorced.
so
5
do
times
you
over.
understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, one man and 2 women is the balance that Islam has given as a witness. And 1 man is equal to two women. And that's the ratio. So it shows you the strength of the witness, the characteristic that the man possesses is twice as much. الرجال قوامون على النساء, what Allah's mentioned is as a degree above the women. So all of these things, men possess more courage, more patience, more bravery, more characteristics. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's created this structure about man and woman. And when they're together, when they're man and wife, and it's working fine, it works well. But when it goes bad, you know.
Yes, and it can go, but it happens. Look.
Hell hath no fury.
Yes.
When a woman's scorned.
Yes, definitely.
And that
definitely.
is, you know, so they will use every tool in the box.
Yes.
To try and get what they can.
Yeah. So basically, when they are arranging these marriages, they're happy to go with the Islamic law, provide, house, protect, X, Y, and Z. When it goes wrong, it's forget the Islamic law. We'll go to the
Sharia council. That's the first step they'll take. They want to come and say, right, okay, this is what's going wrong. But obviously,
but my point is, they might go to Sharia council, but they've already got the blueprint of, okay, they're going to Sharia council.
Yeah.
This is what I believe is happening. They come to the Sharia council just to get the Islamic element wrapped up. Yeah. So then, and along with the Sharia
I want to
council,
say something here, and I feel it's pertinent and very important. Some Sharia councils play into the hands of each other, and it works well only because it's money.
I was going to come to that.
Spinner.
No, we'll come to that.
And they will bend the Islamic Sharia laws to facilitate the woman's application.
Okay.
Just because it's money.
Okay. Now that you've touched on this, we might as well jump into this.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was going to say to you, as you've got experience of the Sharia Council, there's many brothers I speak to. Many. It can't just be a coincidence. It's not a handful.
Okay.
The consistent pattern that no one believes in Sharia Council. That would stay miles away from me. I don't believe it. I don't think there's anything to do with Islam. The Sharia councils, that from what I've seen and heard and people's experiences directly, they're dishing kullahs out, like you said. It's all business. It's good business. Yes. They're dishing them out like sweets. Sharia council might as well be put their office up next to the family court in the area. I mean, it holds no more value. And look, as a layman, as a normal person who just thought I had this whole community and we got beliefs and practices, people with morals, you know, we're meant to be leading examples. When you come and see all of this, it breaks you inside.
The Prophet ﷺ said near the end of times, zina will be rife. It doesn't mean fornication, go outside of the marriage or whatever. It could mean also that people who believe that they are still married are living in sin.
Yes.
They believe that they're still married. Now, why would you say that? They've been led to believe.
They've been led to believe they're no longer married, hence they can move on.
Sharia councils play a pivotal role in that. They will tell them, oh, it's fine. Okay, you've given a divorce, or you've given 3 divorces, it's fine. A lot of Sharia councils will tell them, even after 3 divorces, they can still take it back. It counts as 1. It doesn't. 3 divorces mean 3 strikes and you're out. The marriage is over.
It's done.
Yes.
If you say, okay, just to clarify for the people watching, just from my own knowledge, if you've said the word talaq 3 times with intention, it is done. There's no going back.
There's no going back. There is no going back. The woman will have to marry another man before she can revert back to it.
By Islamic law. Right, okay. Yes. So let's touch on this again then. Why are the Sharia council, is it purely for financial reasons?
Yes.
They're just saying, don't worry.
Some of them are, I mean, I can't speak for all of them, but a few that I've come across and the cases that we've dealt with, yes, it's purely financial. There's a lot of money to be made in this.
Okay, so how did the Sharia council get embroiled in this manner? Is it like for example, could you go up the road tomorrow and start a Sharia council? How does it work?
Yeah, you can, but I mean, people will come to you as your if you're reputable and you've been recommended by somebody, they'll come to you and you'll be able to. But if you're an imam, you're an alim, you're a scholar, they'll come to you. Generally, they'll come to you.
Yeah, but is there no regulation over it? Like, for example,
it's not regulated.
My point is this: look, let's say me and you come into a bit of money. I say, look, I've got this building. You've got a good following.
Yeah.
I got a little following. I'll siphon people to you.
It's not regulated in this country.
So you could literally open a Sharia council tomorrow. We could start dishing out kullahs. talaqs and whatever other
Unfortunately.
That's the reality.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, so people out there, you need to be wary of that. Okay, that's how we've got here. And and this is literally how some of these have opened up, and they're just random, and people assume because it's related to Islam, these are
And there are a lot of problems. I mean, I was at a television studio. I pulled up in the car park, and there was one scholar leaving the TV studio, and there was a family of about 6 or 7 people come up to him, and they attacked him. And I found out later that the attack that took place was that he was siding with the girl's side to protect their interests because he was getting more money from them than the boy's side.
I'm not going to lie, this is very disheartening. It is heartbreaking.
This is something that
it is heartbreaking to know that.
I mean, this is unfortunate. No names mentioning, of course.
No names mentioned. But like I said, what you've said is, I think we need to be aware. For those going through it, we still assume we've got this structure, community, hierarchy.
The unfortunate thing is that the general public don't really know the nitty-gritties and the ins and outs of Sharia in relation to divorce. Well, I mean, if they got a little bit of education on divorce, half of our problems would dissipate. We wouldn't have them. So it's unfortunate that the general public are not well versed in the Islamic divorce law.
Okay, let's go back to general public then, yeah? As a layman myself, just a normal guy, I was an engineer, I'm never going to be a mufti, or, you know what I mean? They're dedicated people have studied, right? But the basics of my understanding and how I grew up from the mosque system, right, yeah, is you say talaq 3 times, it's done, it's over. But then I also understood the little bits that to say 1 talaq, leave it, is still not divorce. And if you take that back, you can reverse it. Like, you know, the basics, I understand. But is that's all the general public will know, won't they? How much more can they know beyond that? And they'd have to still go to a Sharia council or someone,
they would,
imam or an expert.
Yes, they would have to go to try and get everything together. You see, the biggest problem that we're facing at the moment lies in the application. Now, the way the Sharia council should operate, and they don't always, is when an application is received by the, say, example from the woman, from the sister, she writes an application, she will give the reasons why she wants a divorce, or a khula. So the application for the khula is received, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. She got 6, 7 reasons.
Abuse, is it a lot of
whatever
abuse?
It's,
abuse
I mean,
allegations.
and not always true, but there are exceptional circumstances when it is.
Yes, no, definitely.
Which is fine.
There are legit cases.
Yeah, legit cases, of course there are. So what happens, we look at that and we see, okay, well, let's find out. So we will write to the husband.
Yes.
We will contact the husband via email, phone, whatever contact we've got, and give them 21 days to respond to and tell them that what his version is.
Right.
And they will try and correlate, call them in both in. You see, what should happen, and doesn't happen majority of the cases, is they should call both of them in and mediate.
Right.
Is the first
step.
First step. Now, mediation, there's no money in it.
Oh, I see.
There's no money in mediation.
For the council?
For the
Sharia council?
For the Sharia council, there's no money in it. But for a khula, there's £800 to £1,000 in a khula.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So mediation, they don't want to, because she wants the divorce, she wants the khula.
So it's easy to say,
so
well,
they will turn around
sister
and say,
wants it, so
she
let's
wants,
just go with
and
it.
I'm getting £800 for this. Let's go.
What the hell? So it's easier to go to, yeah.
And all it is 3 letters. So they'll write to the husband. If he doesn't respond, they'll write 2nd time. He doesn't respond, they'll write a 3rd time. He doesn't respond.
Then there's a khula.
And they will issue that. But Islamically, they're not allowed to until they've heard
both sides.
Both sides.
Okay, we're going to touch on that in a minute. So let me just clarify it, just so I know, and because I've been on Father's Group, there's a lot of debate about this. So when the Sharia Council, okay, let's say they wrote to this father, he hasn't responded for whatever reason, or because he knows they're false allegations, going through emotional trauma, they're all over the place, he might have a molestation order against him, and then the Sharia Council issue that khula. Is that khula valid or not?
It depends on an individual case.
And what grounds can you say that he didn't, like, okay, what, because...
If he doesn't believe that the person who's in charge of the Sharia Council is qualified, then he genuinely thinks that this guy is not qualified to give me his wife the khula, there's no Islamic jurisdiction for him to genuinely believe, I have to go with it. He doesn't have to. He does not have to Islamically,
I get it. Okay.
Unless he genuinely has the credentials of the Islamically, it's got to be a qazi.
Right.
It's got to be a qazi.
Qazi, right.
Yeah, who's got to issue.
He's got the authority.
He's got the authority. He's the judge.
Right.
In an
right.
Islamic Sharia court, and he is the one who can issue a khula
So
in an Islamic
someone
Sharia
can
court.
ask the Qazi for his qualifications as such as say, can you
Of course,
demonstrate you are qualified to do this, number one, and you have Islamic sort of responsibility to you're an appointed person who's qualified to do this. You can ask him directly, Okay, so I'm just trying to understand this. So they'll write 3 times. If he doesn't respond for whatever reason, effectively that khula is then granted. That is valid then, in theory, as long as that Qazi is appointed officially.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, because a lot of brothers have complained to me that they've responded back saying, "Look, these are lies, this and that, blah blah blah." They said, "Well, look, your wife doesn't want to know," on a second letter or a third letter, and they sort of effectively issued khula. And it's all very grey. It's all very grey. It's not black and white.
If she gets married again,
is she in sin?
she's living in sin.
Yes.
If the khula is not genuine, taken under Islamic law, if it's not issued within the confines of the boundaries of Islamic Sharia law.
Okay, I understand that, right?
And there are a lot of khulas issued
not under Islam.
not under that,
Okay, so my next question to you is this then, if the sister believes that the khula is valid, because Islam comes down to intention as well, a lot of it comes down to intention. If you believe that this guy was legit, you believe you have a legit khula, and then you enter another marriage, you could say that's not her fault. She didn't, in her intentions, let's say she's a legit sister, right? She's a legit victim, right? Yeah, one of very few, and she goes through this process, and she believes that this guy is legitly appointed. He issues a khula, she goes and gets married again. But unknown to her, you're saying she's living in sin. But would that still count as sin? Because,
yes, it would.
Because she doesn't know. Her intention is, if your intention is pure.
No, still a sin.
Okay, so what does she need to do to ensure that is, does she have to then check that they are properly appointed?
When you take out a decision, a major decision in your life, it's down to you. It's up to you to find out what the background of that case
person is. So, okay.
For example, you want to eat halal meat.
Yes.
So why do you think these HFA and all these other accredited groups are to prove that yes, this halal authority
so
is?
You can check.
Yes,
that gives you confidence to say these are legit. We can eat here effectively. Yes.
So they are regulated.
Yes.
Effectively.
Yes.
Now, okay, the Sharia councils are not regulated, but it's still the onus is upon you to check whether that person is legit. Like you said, has not set up a shop on the street corner just to make money.
Okay, so so sister's gone in. When she has to check, what does she ask? Like she can say, "Look, can you show me where can you check this?"
The certificate. Does he have a certificate of iftar? Is he a mufti? Is he in a position to issue a fatwa?
Right, yes. This is what I'm talking about. The average person, okay, you'd see Sharia Council, you go in there, there's people that appear to be good Muslims. Unfortunately, what happens with people, when they see someone of authority and religion, there's always that you drop your guard down and a respect thing comes in. These people are legit. Of course, they're doing Islam. They're not here from, you know what happens, you drop your guard down. We shouldn't. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't do that. I agree. But I'm just thinking from a layman's perspective. So when I go in there and ask the Qazi, can I see your qualifications and your appointment for that you're qualified to do this? He could show me load of this, but unless I have some knowledge of that already, I haven't got a clue what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do we now bridge the gap in the knowledge so the average guy knows what he's looking at when he points that guy? So, for example, you call me to your house to do, say, an electrical job or a plumbing job. Show me your credentials. Show me your background. Are you registered? NIC, whatever, gas safe, Corgi? Or can you take me to some of your customers? Let me see some of your work. I'll show you pictures, videos. There'll be some element of confidence in how I talk about it. I can demonstrate that. With the religious angle, as in the religious angle to see their background qualifications, I just think it's very hard for an average guy to know for sure. For example, look, let's go back to the chicken shop analogy, halal meat. You go to a chicken shop. You might have a certificate on the wall. And before these certificates and HFA, all that came out, there was an element. You went in, you saw a brother in there, and you said, brother halal. He's like, yeah, brother halal. Bismillah. You've done your bit. You've gone to the element of asking him. The guy working there has confirmed. If the chicken was to be haram, then I was told that because your intention was right, you checked, you tried your best to check. You had maybe a bit of paper. You asked. You've covered yourself. Your intention was clean, so you won't get the sin in theory. Yes, am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So when you apply that same logic, say, to this, you can look and ask so far, but for the average Joe, like, you can only assume that the paper he's seen is legit, and what it says is legit, and the positions, like you said, Qadi, Mufti, as he qualified to do fatwa, like I wouldn't know who's qualified to issue a fatwa. If I go to a place like that, for example...
And the sister will have known whether she's lied to the Qazi.
Okay.
She would have known that.
Yes.
Deep down, she is responsible for what she's told him.
Yes.
So if she's told him a pack of lies and she's got the khula on the basis of the pack of lies, so she knows whether she's lied to him, regardless of who he is.
I see what, yeah. That's a completely different angle, which I didn't think of. And in the family court, like I said, bro, anything.
Yeah. So she knows deep down. She's got, if she was honest and told him the whole truth, then it's a different story.
Because look, okay, if we apply the family court analogy, the abuse and the domestic abuse, DV, domestic violence allegations, is very powerful.
Yeah, then she knows that
unfortunately, like
subsequent answers and decisions,
it's all wrong.
And
Anyway.
actions,
it's
all
all
wrong.
So if you walked in, if you base it on the family court, like I said, I hate to say it, but 80% for sisters is just made up. Yeah, they've been coerced into it by other people who are making money, or the legal aid lawyers, women's aid, whatnot. So they know they've been coerced into that lie. So that's family court, Jalal, we forget that, it doesn't matter. But if you walked in based on a lie, even in a Sharia court, to get that kula, to then carry on it, you can say to people as well, but in your heart, at the end, is guna in it. Is guna, is sin.
But what I would, and I always recommend to people, if a woman has made a decision that if she's made a conscientious decision
to go,
that she does not want to stay in the marriage.
Right.
I mean, my advice to any brother out there, no power other than Allah can make her stay.
Yes, and I look. If I say this, in the defense of sisters and brothers, if two people get married, and in the community, look, I think it is a gamble. You could get married, be happy for the next 50 years, or you realize the following morning, what the hell's going on? This person's completely not what I thought or what was presented, and that brings its own issues, I don't believe they should be forced to stay together. If one party is genuinely not happy, speak to sensible elders if you've got them around. But if you don't, there's nothing wrong. Look, even the Sahaba were divorced. Yes or no?
Yes.
This is not, it's only frowned upon in the Asian community because of our Indian history and background, and divorce and marriage is always,
it's a taboo topic.
Taboo, yes,
100%. It is, of course it is.
So people react very aggressively still, rather than saying...
There's a lot of stigma attached to it.
Yes.
I mean, less so now because it's more prevalent in society.
Well, less now because sisters are initiating it. Sisters are on the front line.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you believe sisters are initiating divorce? Why? What's happened?
Greed.
Yeah, but if they're with someone, they're getting everything... Freedom
and greed. Why would a woman who's got it in her head, and there's a lot of, feminine movements and feminism and these feminist, the movements that
penetrate the community.
It has, and the minds and this freedom, and it's given them a different dimension. And telling women that why do you need to cook and clean for a man? It's slavery. It's a form of slavery. It's a form of servitude. But Islam is totally the opposite to this. Islam tells them there is barakah, there is reward in serving your husband. In serving your husband in the servitude of the household. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions these words in the Quran. They are your committed partners. Committed partners. The Mufassirun of the Quran have written, committed means that their commitment to you is to help and assist you.
Yes.
And provide you comfort in the home. And this is Islam. Not some freedom movement telling you you're a slave to your husband. Why do you need a man? Why do you need to come clean for him? Let him do it himself. Okay, there's no harm in doing it. The Prophet ﷺ used to work in the house himself and help, with the home, with the chores, with everything. But at the end of the day, if a man is the breadwinner and they've married a breadwinner with the intention that this man is going to provide for the household, the family, the children, then they must be of that word where it says they are your committed partners.
Okay, let me try a different angle then, yeah? Obviously, with everything you just said now, yeah? So let's take it now. The brothers are breadwinners, they're providing. And what is happening is, so brothers and sisters, people are getting married, yeah? Guy's a breadwinner, you know, he provides finances for everything, no problem, because it's his job, no problem. He's instructed by Allah, this is the responsibility bestowed upon us, Bismillah, no problem, yeah? Sisters, many sisters are working, but whether it's right or wrong, that's a separate subject. We'll put that aside for a minute, yeah? So let's say sisters are working and earning their money. Islam says their money is their money, yeah? Your money is the family money, their money is their money, as per what I understand in Islam, yeah? Sisters know this very well. Sisters throw this in brothers' faces all day, every day. No, this is my money, you do everything. Then when it comes to that day where they think, you know what, why am I doing anything for this guy? I'm working, I'm earning, I got my money. And if I get rid of him, I can take his money, his house, and the kids, or what was deemed to be our family house. So they apply that as and when it suits. Now, this is the problem, and this is what I think from all the brothers I speak to, all the fathers group, this is where the problem lies now. So if you were getting married today, Mrs. is working, some of these girls, you know, sisters are dentists, doctors, lawyers, you know, 80, 90, 100 grand a day, they're the top earners, yeah? Brother's working as well, but he's paying for the whole family unit, everything. The sister is working and earning, but this is when the Islamic angles are applied. When it goes wrong and the brother has paid for these 10 years or 15 years, and then the sister initiates divorce, she's taken from him for the last 10, 15 years, she saved her money, it's her money, right? Islamically, it's her money, so she saved her money saying, no, because this is what it says in Islam, yeah, at the time. The problem now is, when she initiates divorce, she takes the kids, these allegations are placed, she's kept all her money, and these brothers are homeless, they've lost their lives, they've got nothing to want to really live for, they've lost contact with their kids. They're using obviously the non-Muslim system to fully dismantle this brother. But my point is, because he's followed the Islamic angle from day dot, he's got no protection. So what do we do now when at the start of a marriage, when a sister and their family keep throwing this at you? No, you provide, this is hers Islamically. When we know what's going on, surely there has to be some concession to protect brothers to say, no, if you are going to work, then you have to either bring 50% to secure me now because of what is going on and what we see. Would you approach that? Tell me that. What would be your take on it?
Good question. You see, the thing is, Islam gives the man the right to make the decisions in the household, including the decisions of freedom of movement of the woman. Now, if a husband tells his wife that she can't work, then she can't leave the house without his explicit permission. I mean, there is explicit permission, general permission in Islam. Explicit permission means when she's got to travel somewhere or she wants to. I mean, general permission is like, okay, everyday shopping, mum, in-law, her parents' house, or brothers and sisters, siblings, or whatever, thereabouts.
Day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, but explicit permission on certain things, and then you turn around and say, okay, right, time out, no work. You can't work.
Okay, so
she's got to then reevaluate the whole situation. Okay, my money is my money. Islam does say that is her money. That is her money.
Yes.
But if it's causing problems and he makes a decision now she's not working any longer and she takes care of the household while he's the breadwinner, now she's got to...
No, I get that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. But the point is, when you're, let's say as a just a nice laid back husband, you think, okay, if your job is helping people, you're a doctor. No problem, you can work because it's helping people. There's other sisters who need a doctor, hence she can work, yeah? But point is, when you follow the Islamic guideline at that point, you've left yourself unprotected as a man. Because when we do not live when it comes to the other end where a sister initiates divorce, you're at risk of losing everything. She's in a position to keep everything she's got Islamically and take all of yours un-Islamically. And her family, unfortunately, these sisters have brothers and fathers who support them. So even, let's say, if you don't practice your Islamic right as a husband at the start, yeah, because you don't want to be seen as being too strict, yeah, you've left yourself wide open. So then what I'm saying is there's no concession to say that, look, in order to protect yourself, because this is like a situation where you can't prepare for. Do you see what I'm saying? So what you're saying is a brother should just say at the start of the wedding, then look, if I'm to provide and fulfill my duties, then forget this work business, forget this career business. That's you're saying that is the best place to then just be
Yeah, of
straight.
course. Yeah, straight up. Without
Okay,
any,
well, fine.
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's it. Be straight. That's what we
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
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 straight
yeah.
shooters.
Yeah.
But there's no other way you think round from an Islamic perspective.
If it's going to cause a problem in the house, then no.
It's not causing a problem at the time. My point is, this is an unforeseen problem that might happen 10 years later, and you've left yourself vulnerable because you followed the Islamic guideline. Do you see
Yeah.
what? Do you see how I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
it?
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's no. What you're saying is straight. If you believe that, obviously, this
The minute you get a whiff that there's going to be some issue, cut it up straight away.
it's hard to know that in it first 2 years back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's hard to know initially at the start of marriage, isn't it?
You start as you mean to go on. So you
Yeah.
realize slowly how things are
Get a
panning out.
flavour of what's the family, how they are.
You'll start to get the gist of how things are panning out, and if you can't know your partner within a year or two,
Yeah, you're right.
then there is something that's either they are a very good actor,
Yeah.
or you're a very good judge of character.
Well, all sisters are actors.
Yeah.
Not just all of them get paid.
Allahu Akbar.
Okay, look, that's a straight point. Okay, fine. But why? Okay, I understand the family. But you know these sisters that are now initiating, like you've seen it firsthand from the Sharia. You've seen it firsthand, yeah. What I don't understand is, look, and I'm not blaming the brothers or the fathers, but these sisters do have brothers and fathers. And in a lot of cases I've seen, brothers and fathers, like I said, halal, haram, right, wrong, truth, lies is irrelevant. You side for your own.
Well, it's unfortunate. It's
common sense is going out the window.
Yeah, it is. It's benefit and interests.
Okay, but look, when I say brothers and fathers,
Yeah.
I'm talking, I know people directly, yeah? I know people from my own experience, like, generally, they are genuinely practicing people. And I'm not saying they're not practicing, they are genuinely practicing, but when it comes to this, a lifetime of practicing Islam, like I said, sajde karne wale bahut hai, yeah? We got plenty of doing sajde, hajj, umrah, charity. The whole family talks Islam. I mean, and don't get me, they are genuinely practicing. I'm not even disputing that. But when it comes to these personal affairs, surely, I mean, look, when I say, look, I may not appear to be, but I'm a normal guy. Just don't cheat no one or screw no one over.
Yeah.
Don't try and upset no one. Try and be respectful. Basic knowledge of Islam. That's me, basics, right? How is it that a lifetime of practice, people that talk about Islam all the time, I'm not saying these are like muftis, they're just normal people, but they're in charge of Islamic school. Some of them, they work in the Islamic field. I know brothers that work on other Islamic platforms. And when a sister claimed abuse, they went and all these brothers from an Islamic channel, unfortunately, rock up in a van, they emptied his brother's house or aiding in the betting place without even speaking to his brother once. Listen, what's going on? People he's never met or seen. So when it comes to this, how is it that these people who are intellectuals practicing Islam for a lifetime, the brain just goes off when it comes to this?
Again, it's greed, and greed makes people do certain things when they know that they're getting something for nothing, or they're getting way more than they're entitled to. An entitled mentality is something that's creeping up more and more every day, that they think, well, hang on a minute, we're not entitled. They may not be entitled to it, but they'll take it over because they can. And the law sided with them.
Okay, so where do you think we are headed as a Muslim community here in England? Because this is
Okay,
all over the West.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm always, I see the glass half full. I never see it half empty. And inshallah ta'ala, we can always pray. The Ummah, Allah makes things easier. But the way things are going, I think there is a need for construction of character within, perfecting the character of the upcoming generations, giving them the tools to be able to understand and respect the Deen and Sharia. And hopefully they will understand that the prophetic character is the way. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. In fact, indeed, the finest and perfect examples of all is the Prophet ﷺ. Allah says in the Quran. So what we must do, we must follow the prophetic character and try and perfect ourselves on a daily basis, so that we can then emulate the prophetic character, inshallah ta'ala, which for better for the future upcoming generations. And you see, the thing is, I think when there's more influence from evil forces, evil sides, outside forces, agencies and governmental bodies, and these funded groups that will get funding, all because they are propelling and pushing forward an agenda
big time
that's come from some other source. I mean, I'm being very vague here,
No, I know
but I'm
exactly.
sure that
I've
you're
seen it.
understanding.
I've seen it. I've seen this
And,
evil
and,
directly.
and
Yes.
these agencies are funding certain groups to rip apart
Families.
family structure and system,
Yes.
you know, and that's having a devastating effect. And the minute we all understand that there are evil forces out there trying to rip up the family structure and family system,
Yes.
I think maybe then we'll start to listen more to ourselves, read into Islam more, understand the reasons why we're here. And we're not going to be here forever. We're here for a few years, but the eternal life, you know, بعد يوم يقوم الحساب, when we're there on the day of judgment, when we stand before our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and answer for every action, for every deed we've committed, good or bad on the dunya. For the good we will get the hasanat, the ajr, and for the bad we will get the punishment. And I think then you'll start to understand, hang on a minute, who did I do it for? No son or daughter is going to help you in the grave. No son or daughter is going to help you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. No mum and dad are going to be there. So, and no brothers and sisters are going to help you, the ones who are helping you on the dunya. So they're going to, you know, then they're going to be all alone and say, well, you've robbed this man of a house when it wasn't yours. You've robbed this man of his kids.
You robbed his kids of their
You took his
father.
children away when they needed him the most. He was caring for them. He was providing for them. He was nurturing them. He was bringing them up to be good citizens of society. He was being a role model for them. And you took that role model away. And on the day of judgment, the children will be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that how did your parents treat you? Did they give you your deserving rights? Are you happy with the way they brought you up? And if either of the parent took away something from them, they will speak on that day. Because nothing but the truth will be spoken on Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Yes,
you know, so this is something that we must be mindful of.
I think you're right. See, I think what it comes down to is we all need to change.
Yeah, of
Everyone's sister is someone's wife. Our mother is someone's mother-in-law. Our father is someone's father-in-law. Our brother is someone's husband. So we all need to change a little bit for the whole community to benefit and move and try and tackle this issue. We all need to change a little bit. What we'll do, Shaykh Suhail, is we'll go on a little short break. And we'll come back in a minute.
Okay.
Right, we are back. Time is short, so Shaykh Suhail, I'm going to ask you two questions. Firstly, first question, what is your message to other muftis and sheikhs and imams as a leader of our Muslim community around this subject? Should they be talking about it more or not? Do they need to come forward? What would you say to them?
Right,
firstly?
yes, I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about much more, even in the masajid, even in the khutbahs, even on Jum'ah. They need to explain this. And I know some people are very afraid and very shy to talk about this because they don't want to face reality. Reality is that divorce is on the rise at an alarming rate here in the UK and Europe. Even in the subcontinent, it's rising at an alarming rate.
I've heard,
around the world. Right now, 60 to 70% of marriages, Muslim marriages in this country, end up in divorce within the first 5 years. Yes.
I didn't know it was that much. 60, 70%?
Yeah. 60 to 70% of marriages within the first 5 years end up in divorce.
Flipping it, okay.
Yes, that's how it is. And it's an alarming rate. Now, if the ulama, the mashayikh do not speak about this, they are answerable on Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
They need to speak about it. Why they won't speak, people ask, well, because there's no benefit in it for them. In fact, it's detrimental to their income. If they speak against either the sisters who are funding their lifestyles or the brothers who are funding their lifestyles and paying for their business class and first class airfares and tickets and, you know, wining and dining them,
So you're saying there's certain, not all of them, but some are towing the party line of interest. And this subject is not really in their interest.
They won't speak about it.
They are answerable. They need to talk more. Second,
because if you speak the truth, you will upset one party.
100%, yeah. If you stand for something,
Sayyidina Ali, Karamallahu wajhul kareem, he said, you cannot be a true mu'min until you have, if you speak the truth, you'll have a lot of enemies.
If you ain't got haters, you're doing something wrong. That's what I'm saying. If you ain't got haters, you're a people pleaser. That's the thing.
Yeah.
All right, time is short, so I'll jump into my next question. Yeah.
Okay.
What would you say to brothers, fathers, uncles of a sister who is denying those children contact with their father? So we're not even going to message, not even a message to the sisters. You can make a little message to the sisters but that sister has a people and a family, a network of men around them that know those children are being damaged by no contact. Yeah, what would you say to them?
Right, what I'd say to them is, first of all, there is no man on the face of this earth that can replace a father other than the father himself. There is no one who can give those children the love that a father can give, the care, the comfort that the father can give, the grandfather, the uncle, the any other relative, the brothers or whatever. They can't be the de facto father. They may think, or the sisters may think, that my brother, my father, my uncle, my chacha, my nana can maybe give them the love. They can't.
No.
No, nothing can replace the father. And the father is the umbrella of the house, the shade, the roof of that house, which he protects the children, the family, from rainstorm and any other affliction of any type.
So would these people be questionable as well if they stood by, watched their nephews, nieces,
Anybody
and grandchildren?
anybody who does an injustice, yeah. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرٍّ يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرٍ يَرَهُ. Every atom's weight of evil will be answerable on Yawm al-Qiyamah, and every atom's weight of good will be rewarded on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah saying that in the Quran.
Ameen.
So, every atom's weight of evil, even picking up this off the floor that may be a trip hazard, you will get reward for that on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And by you throwing something in the way of a husband or a wife or a father or a mother or any other relative to trip him up and prevent him from seeing the children, you're answerable. Of course you will be answerable.
Okay, Shaykh Suhail, thank you for your time. Obviously, I think we might have to sit down again some point
Inshallah.
in the future.
Most
It's
welcome.
very unorthodox, me and the orange with the Shaykh, very unorthodox, but hopefully after watching this, others will come forward, other people of knowledge will come forward and openly challenge this and stand for truth to protect the ummah, protect our children, inshallah. Thank you for your time, and keep making dua for the ummah, inshallah.
Allah bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Disqualified Dads.